Hey, guys. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to day 6 in the Visibility Anchor series. Come on in, say hi if you're on live. That helps me to know that you can hear me, you can see me, and the tech is doing what it's supposed to do. Because just as I was about to go live, it came up with like a message about my connection. So just confirm if you're on that you can hear me. That would be amazing. I realized I forgot to do one of the steps. So we are going to do that in real time. Give me 2 seconds. All right. So how are you? How's your Tuesday going? It feels like it should be further on in the week. Is it just me? Kind of feels like it should be further on, but hey, we're here. Let me know if you can hear me, if you're on live, and I will get into the content. I've got my cup of coffee, which is, well, a hot drink is customary, often ends up going cold. But hey, Leonora, how are you? I've just realized I forgot to do one of the steps. So I am just doing that in real time. Let me know how your day is going. 1 month to Christmas. Yes, Jackie, thank you for that. Thank you for that. And I don't know, like, have you started to prepare? My husband was keen to start with the mince pies this year early. I think they were giving them away for free in some supermarkets to like lure you in. But guys, bear with me. I'm just trying to get the tech set up because your girl forgot a step. So I'm fixing it in the moment. Yeah, I didn't even like piece together. Yes, it's the 25th, so exactly 1 month to go. Let me know, have you started doing your Christmas shopping? Gifts or food? What does that look like for you? Drop in the comments as well. Let me know how you guys have been finding the visibility series, the Visibility Anchor series. Has it been helpful? What has been your favorite anchor? We still have some more to go, but I'd love to hear how you found it so far. All right, if this doesn't work, then I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna. No, it's not working. All right, guys, let's push on. Let's push on. All right, let's see. Leonora says, rushing, cooking, making lunch, and listening to you talk about multitasking. Hey, this is the life of a woman. This is what we do. Do you know what? I renege. I retract. I've like started to hold my hands up and just be like, I cannot multitask. There's like this narrative that like we can do it all, but to me, you're either doing one thing or you're doing something else. So there's something that is not being done to the level that it should. Something is suffering as a result of it. So yeah, that's the reality of it. I've started eating mince pies. Hobby keeps buying them. Playing catch up with the anchors. Yeah, no worries. The replays are there, so you can get them from a YouTube playlist or on the events on my LinkedIn page. Let me know if I'm glitching, guys, because as I said, just as I was about to go live, it came up with an error message. No, none of the above. I have not started Christmas. Well, you've just been sunning yourself. So in your mind, like we're in like mid-high summer, right? So getting yourself accustomed to the weather again and that the festivities of Christmas will probably take some time. Let me know if you've got a hot drink as well. It's a coffee day for me. I'm feeling quite tired. But let's get into it, guys. Thank you for coming back, right? Because there are a few of you on here who have been rocking with me pretty much each day. And if not each day, then the majority of them. So I do want to say thank you, because I don't take that lightly. Your time, your attention, your focus, that is like worth more than, you know, anything else. It's your most valued and prized possession, your time. And there's a war, there's a fight for attention and eyeballs. So the fact that you've put your eyeballs here and given your time here, I do want to thank you for that. If it's your first day here, then welcome. Where have you been? I'm glad you're here. Go catch the replays. They will all be in a playlist on YouTube, or you can get to them from the events tab on my LinkedIn page. We've gone through a series of what I'm calling anchors, and these are specific things that you can do as a business owner, right? So that you don't feel as though you are drifting when it comes to your visibility. You don't feel as though you have no idea what to do, where to do it, how to do it, what tools you can use. So we've spoken about lead magnets, we've spoken about platforms, we've spoken about your story and how that should show up in your online presence. Today, we are talking about community, right? And when I say community, there's a whole probably range of things that kind of comes up in your mind when I say community. But ultimately, for me, community is part of your ecosystem. So the same that you have the tools, ChatGPT, Canva, Excel, the tools that you use, a community is also a tool that can be leveraged to help you to advance your business, to help you to move things forward. So I want to start straight away with this, right? If consistency around your visibility feels as though I just need more discipline, I just need to be more consistent, I would like you to reframe that. Really, what you need is an ecosystem that actually supports you, that undergirds and holds you, so that you are able to get yourself in front of the right people, the right organizations, the right initiatives. Most women think that the problem is willpower or time. These are things that, yes, do come into play. But really, what I have seen is that those that kind of keep going down that path end up just like berating themselves and make life and business feel so much harder, rather than just showing yourself grace, rather than finding a community of people who are going along that same journey, going along that same path, and get what it is that you are trying to achieve. We're often wearing many hats, right? So we're the marketing team, we're the press team, we're the tech team, we're the designers, the Canva creators. We are delivering the service. We're doing all the things, and often what we're doing is we are doing it in isolation. So we can be like lone wolves that we're creating in the dark, creating like behind closed doors, and nobody sees, nobody can speak into what we're doing, nobody can give their input and be like, hey sis, I think, adding this in would be really valuable. And then what happens is, because we've created in the dark, in isolation, when we like arrive with this thing, there's gaps, there's deficiencies, there's bits that are missing, because you've been operating in isolation, right? And here's the thing where it, to me, gets interesting, because most women that I work with have been in a plethora of communities. They're in communities now, right? They've been in the memberships, the group programs, the masterminds, the WhatsApp chats, sister circles, all the things that you can think of, networking spaces. I can't imagine how many like Zoom calls I have been on in the past 5 years, how many check-ins I've done, how many times I've introduced myself. I'm sure like this is resonating. You're like, I have done the community thing. I get it. I've done it. Right. And a lot of those spaces, as beautiful as they are, as supportive, as affirming, as good as they can be for connections, if you're honest, they don't always change or move the needle, right? They don't always help you with your visibility, right? So, yes, you feel seen in this space, but not necessarily more visible in your business. And I think for us as female service-based business owners, like there's a pattern, right? There's like a reoccurring pattern. So yes, we join the community, we get some energy, we share perhaps what we're working on, talk about mindset, talk about our values, work on our ideal client persona for the 100 billionth time, right? And maybe we journal some things out. But then when you go back to your laptop after all of that, right, you're still thinking, all right, so what do I do now? What's the next step? Like, how am I going to translate this into clients? How do I show up on LinkedIn tomorrow? Like, what should I be writing about? Right. So that gap still exists, even though the communities are there, these spaces, these programs are there, right? And it's not that community doesn't work. Don't hear what I'm not saying. It's not that they don't work, but I think most communities were like communities in general are built without like a clear pathway specifically for visibility in mind. So if you want to be in a community that is speaking about like your mindset, join that type of community. But if visibility and getting your business to be known, recognize the obvious choice, you want to be the go-to person, then being in a community that speaks about visibility kind of makes sense, right? So for me, looking at the community offerings, the things that are presented to you, and seeing how are they going to anchor you with that goal of visibility. And a community anchor isn't just about being around other women in business, right? It's when you're in a space where the focus is clear to everybody. You guys all know what the method is. You guys all know what the next steps are, and you are not doing it on your own. Everyone is moving in the same direction. So you're not just talking about like your feelings, you're not just sharing your feelings, you're not just like motivating each other on a Monday, and then come Tuesday, you're like groping in the dark trying to figure it out for the rest of the week, right? Community, I believe, should be community plus structure. So all of those things are nice. They're beautiful. It's great to encourage each other. It's great to be able to share our feelings. But then there has to be structure. There has to be a pathway, a process, something that you can follow and tick and know that you're moving in the right direction. So I hope that some of this is landing. Drop in the comments if what I'm saying is landing. I will be checking periodically and circling back. Right. But you don't want to just be in another chat space, another talking shop. And when I was at work, that was my frustration. Like we would have meetings about meetings. We would have a meeting to plan for the meeting that was coming. Right. And I feel that with some of these communities, they can just end up being talking shops. So you come off and you've got like this warm, fuzzy feeling. There's like a glow. And as I say, that following day, what now? Like what are we doing? What are we doing? What's the next step? Right. So when I talk about community anchors, and let me just like clear this now, let me just like deal with this head on because you may have been thinking about this. A community anchor is not a LinkedIn pod. I'll say that again. A community anchor is not a LinkedIn pod. It's not about like mine and I'll like yours, right? It's not by force and obligation that you have to comment on 10 posts before you've had your breakfast. like that is not a community anchor. Those things create artificial engagement. They're just to make the numbers look good. They're just to, it's like just for face value. So yeah, your post has a lot of comments and engagement, but really those individuals are not your ideal customers. They're not in your niche or your sector, so can't open any doors for you. It's fake engagement. That's what LinkedIn pods are. And I would discourage you from participating in such things. LinkedIn, they don't like it. The algorithm is smart and can detect these things. And what you find is that your reach ends up getting limited. People sometimes even have lost their accounts because of it. And then even from external perspective, right? If you go to a post and you just keep seeing the said same people at the said same time, all commenting with like just empty, like meaningless almost comments. What does that, like, what perception do you then have of that business and that brand? You start to view them less in your own eyes, right? So the perception starts to reduce of that particular brand. So I'm doing a lot of talking. I'm gonna come back and check the comments and see what you guys are saying. All right, I'm just seeing some eyes. I don't know what the eyes were in relation to, but the eyes were there. And yeah, they should be. They should be, because it's important, right? As I've said, community is a tool, and it's a powerful tool that we often underestimate, and we join every group and we shoehorn ourselves into things, and then you're just like, this is consuming all of my time. This is consuming my brain capacity, and where I should actually be focused on maybe your visibility anchors, maybe getting in front of the right people, maybe mastering your message, where kind of sat sharing feelings, which there's a place and a time for that, right? But as I've said, if you are in a LinkedIn pod or whatever, I don't recommend it. It definitely will not be the vibe that I will be curating in the LinkedIn Strategy Lab, right? Because you can have a post with a lot of likes, a lot of engagements, but still have no pipeline, still have no clients, right? So now we're just into vanity. We're just into how it looks on the surface. So a community anchor is not about boosting metrics. It's not about the numbers per se in that regard. What they are about is strengthening you, the person, you, the business, so that you can keep showing up and moving forward. Because just having a load of likes, I don't know for you, but it might feel good in the moment, but it doesn't hit my bank account. It doesn't open doors of opportunity for me to get in front of more people. So I feel like most of us women over the age of 40, we grew up in a world where like we were just told to get on with it, right? So maybe asking for help is something that we weren't necessarily encouraged to do. And then we've carried that forward into business. So we don't want to make a fuss. We don't want to ask for help. We want to put our superwoman cape on and just plow on, get on with the thing, right? So as I said, even now that you're in business, we're trying to do it all alone, right? So you're planning content alone, you're second guessing everything, your offer, you're not sure, like, is it clear? Is my messaging clear? Does my promise make sense? All of these things you're doing alone in a vacuum or an echo chamber where you think this is good, so we're just going to run with it, all the while telling ourselves we just need to be more consistent, right? Consistency isn't magic, but I really do believe that consistency is nurtured and grown in community spaces where collectively you are all moving in the same direction. I always share this story, when I was at uni, I used to finish the uni day, go home, do family stuff, and then I would go back to the library, right? They would open until midnight. I'd go back to the library to work, because being in that environment where I could see other people studying, I'm like, oh, so you're planning to do the work. Okay, let me roll up my sleeves and get in, right? Whereas if I'm at home, I can't see anybody else progressing towards that thing. I'm sure you guys have heard, I think it's Will Smith. He says, like, if I'm on a treadmill next to you, trust and believe, like, I am going to die winning. Like, he's going to outrun the person next to him. So I always liken communities and the people in them to like your running buddies. They encourage you to keep going, right? When I see somebody in a community, sorry, that I'm in winning, I'm like, okay, what is it that they did? How? And I've got access to them, right? I could jump onto a coffee chat call with them, find out how they did it, what tools did they use, right? These are the benefits, I think, and the power of community. So let me just give you a quick example of how, right, the benefits often shows up. So a woman will sit, as I've said, with an idea for months, right? It lives in her head, or maybe it lives on some random Google Doc in her Google Drive. Maybe she's mentioned it to one friend that's not even in business. So the friend's like, yeah, that sounds great, right? Then they step into a space where they can say it out loud. They start to articulate it. And as you share it, you start to refine it. As you talk about it, it starts to kind of click and make sense. You get feedback. You start to tweak your messaging, right? You see where you can plug it into a visibility plan. And in a matter of weeks, the thing that felt impossible is now out in the world, right? The difference wasn't that all of a sudden they became capable, because they were always capable, they were always incredible. The difference was that they were trying to figure it out in isolation. We weren't made to be in isolation. We were made for community. We were made to gather together. So yeah, I'm banging the drum for community. I'm sure you can see that, right? And as a community owner, you're probably thinking, well, she would do that. I have 3 communities now currently. So I'm a big proponent of community. I see the benefit and the value of it, right? Inside the LinkedIn Strategy Lab, that is exactly the way in which we're building. So yes, it's a community space, but it's built with a simple pathway. I've shared the pathway on previous anchor sessions. So building out your profile, your content, making sure that that is proof points of what your profile said you can do. Your content should provide the proof of that through various different content types, right? The next stage in the pathway is your pipeline. So these are the people that you're nurturing from LinkedIn, that you are moving along the buyer's journey to eventually become clients. That's the 4th step in the pathway. And all of these visibility anchors that we've been going through sit within the pathway. So your platform, your story, your lead magnets, what we're speaking about tomorrow, collaborations, all of this fits within the pathway. So you're not just having great conversations about visibility. What you're doing is you are actually building it, right? So even if we're talking about it, it's with the intention of it being built, with you having something tangible that you can point to and be like, well, yeah, my time in the lab resulted in this. This is what I've been able to produce. So we only opened doors recently. I think we're up to maybe about 40, maybe 39, 40 members. It's open to both men and women. Clearly, there is a slant towards my sisters, right? I'm always going to be an advocate of female entrepreneurs over the age of 40, but the doors are open to the fellas. So if you know a guy who needs help with LinkedIn, please feel free to share. But as I said, we're relatively small at the moment. So there's an opportunity to really have your voice heard, to ask questions, to be seen, right? So that your visibility work is supported and not just kind of observed. And as I said, it's not by force that people have to engage with your content, right? So if you decide to join at this stage while we're still forming, storming, norming, all that stuff, right? What you're doing is you are helping us to shape it, right? So you get in while it's growing rather than trying to squeeze yourself into something that I believe is going to blow up. I believe is going to be absolutely jam packed. So I'm going to share more about the Strategy Lab and the Black Friday offer probably from tomorrow. I'll share more details, but you could click the QR code that would take you to the About page so you could learn more. I've gone down a rabbit hole. Today was not about selling the community to you. It was about being honest with yourself about the way in which you're trying to do this, right? So the question that I want to leave you with is simply, where in your visibility journey have you been trying to carry everything by yourself, right? Do you have a visibility partner, a visibility buddy, a community, right, that you can bounce ideas off? You could co-work together to get the work done, right? So have a think about that, sit with that for a bit. Yeah, take a moment to just think what comes to mind, who comes to mind, what support system structures do you have in place, what environments are you a part of that is actually going to help you to show up strong, to show up differently in 2026. So, my friend, I'm going to bring this one to a close. Tomorrow, I'll be back with anchor number 7. And that, as I alluded to, is all around collaboration, right? And where we'll talk about how collaboration can actually be the pivot point that takes you to your next level in your business, in your visibility, right? So it's not about just you being visible on your own platform, but we'll get into that tomorrow. So let me come and see, right? I can see over on YouTube, there are no comments there. Let's have a look. All right, so Leonora over on LinkedIn. So true, can be talking just for talking's sake. Yep, with not much being actioned. Important, I think, to drill down on where the right people are and where you can get the support. Absolutely. I love talking with the best of them, right? I said these visibility anchor sessions were only going to be 10 minutes, yet and still every day we have been here for half an hour. So I like talking, right? I like talking with the best of them. However, when it comes to the work, when it comes to letting the main thing be the main thing, right, that needs to be your focus, right? Because we can get caught up in, and I'm always reminded of that post that I did a while back. Maybe I'll reshare it, where I said on LinkedIn, like, you came here for business, but you've got caught in banter. It's a real thing. People end up yibber yabbering about things that are irrelevant to business when I'm assuming you're not on LinkedIn just for friends. I'm assuming, maybe tell me, I don't know. Right. But we end up getting into conversations that are not linked to our business, are not going to impact our bank account, don't move the needle forward. Yet, if I check through your comments, I don't see anything pertaining to the work that you say you do. I don't see you talking to anybody in like your industry, in your niche. Like, that needs to be a focus and a priority. And I'm going down another rabbit hole. So let me come back up. Let me come back up. Hey, Ronke, good to see you. Thank you so much for jumping in. I think this is probably your day one in the Visibility Anchor series. So feel free to go and check the previous. This is the 6th one, and this will be in. Did I add yesterday's? I'll add them all to the playlist on YouTube, or you can access it from the event section on LinkedIn. Thank you so much, Jackie. I'm glad that you found this helpful. Like, think about it. Go away and think about it. The communities that you're in, like, are they helping you with visibility? And I think, right, forget visibility. She says, doing a series on visibility. Whatever your goal is, align yourselves with communities and spaces that move and advance you in that regard. It just like, I don't get it. Sometimes we're in these spaces and they're nice to be in, but they're not helping, right? If anything, they're consuming from your time, your focus. And then when your focus is split across so many different things, you don't get the results because you only have so many hours in the day, right? You only have, this looks like I'm naked. I'm not. It looked like I was naked. My microphone was like pulling my thing down. So I wanted to just prove I was not. Another rabbit hole. Guys, go enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. This has been fun. I'll be back tomorrow and we'll be speaking about collaborations and all the things associated with that.